A very warm welcome to all of you watching this video. This video, as you can see, the title of this video is basically the frequency analysis of XAT and the three keys to crack XAT. A frequency analysis of any exam is important because it tells you what has been happening in the exam over the last 8 to 10 years. So for this video, we have created the complete frequency breakup of the various question types in verbal, the various question types in quants and DI, and the various question types in decision making that you can be expected to see in the XAT. And we have done this over 10 years. So what we want to instruct you or what we want to show you here in this video is exactly what this breakup is. And then we will talk about the three keys to crack the XAT in the context of cracking this exam. Once you understand the frequency, what are the three keys to cracking this exam? So let's first look at the first frequency table, the frequency analysis table. So if you look at this frequency analysis table here, this is showing you the breakup of the verbal ability reading comprehension section in the XAT. If you look at this, we have put down on the columns all your years from 2011 to 2020, and taken us a bit of effort. So I hope you will share these videos, like the channel, like these videos, and also put it across. I mean, subscribe to the channel and do press the bell icon so that you come to know about anything we are doing here. So a few things that you notice with respect to the verbal ability RC section, as the years have gone by from 2011 to 2020, the number of questions have decreased from 34, 32, 30 now to a standardized 26, 26, 26. Point number one. Point number two is that the reading comprehension in XAT can be split between general and poem level reading comprehension or poem based reading comprehension. And the first time poem based reading comprehension appeared in the XAT was 2016. But as you can see down this row here, it's been a constant presence. So one poem with two questions is constant there. And if you look at reading comprehension overall, 26 questions may say 15, 14, 16, 14, 15. So pretty much around 60% of the paper, of the VRC paper, is reading comprehension, very similar to the CAT. But यहाँ पे भी the quality of the reading comprehension will be pretty decent. You will have to understand stuff. You will have to work out your stuff, etc. And we'll come to the logics of how much you need to score, etc. a little bit later. But this is as far as RC goes. The other key thing to notice here in verbal is the verbal ability is slightly more expanded than the verbal ability you see in an exam like CAT. So you've got word level VA, you've got fill in the blanks, you've got sentence level questions, that means correction, replacement, completion. You have parajumbles, the favorite of the CAT, and you also have critical reasoning. So your verbal preparation has to be broad based. And you can see in 2020, 13 questions in verbal, 13 in RC. So if you look at that, you realize that 13 questions in RC, 13 in VA, it's 50% of the paper is VA, and it's a fair splattering of or fair mix of all these question types. So your verbal preparation has to definitely be more broad based. In CAT, you focus on only 3 or 4 question types, but in XAT, you kind of split your question type preparation into all kinds of questions. So this is one major change you'll need to bring in. And you can see that verbal is basically, if you look at the 16 to 20 period, verbal is basically between 40% to 50% of the paper. And RC is basically 60% on the upper side and 50% on the lower side of the paper. And the sectional qualifying of verbal for an 85 percentile is typically in the 9.5 to 10 range. 1 mark per question, and 5 options रहते हैं, that in itself increases the complexity of getting to the right answer. 9.5 marks approximately, with +1 for a positive and the -0.25 for the negative answers. So this is the verbal breakdown or the verbal frequency analysis of the ZAT over the last 10 years. Now we look at the third section directly because the decision making section will come to. We look at quantitative ability and data interpretation. Mind you, this section is including data interpretation itself here, and the only DI asked in ZAT is in this section. If you look at the breakdown between let's just look at the last 5 years, 29, 26, 27, 25, 28 questions in the ZAT, and out of that, data interpretation is between 6 to 9 questions, 6, 7, 8, 9 questions. So last year there were 8 questions on DI across I think three sets, or maybe it was two. I don't remember that exactly. So what happens is a good score in quantitative ability, the sectional qualifying score, the 85 percentile score again is 9.5 to 10. And if you can get to the point where because you have played this game now, that you pick up a DI set and get through it and solve it. So if you can be standing on these 8 questions where you say that okay, all these 8 are done, and I'm getting a +8 on this, then the pressure of the cons actually goes away completely. And if you have 2 or 3 sets and you take it, let's say 15 to 20 minutes on the 3 sets, and you have a 60-minute time frame or 62-minute time frame on the section, which is what you have taken a decision about, you still have 40 minutes more, 40 plus minutes more to get your 20 quants questions or the 19 or the 21 quants questions, etc. And if you look at the frequency analysis of the quant section, you'll again see a very similar breakdown to CAT. Look at the number system, absent sometimes, but normally a presence. So 2 to 4 questions, but I mean 1 out of 22, 4 out of 24, 5 out of 22, up to 4 out of 20. So number systems, a presence, constant presence, arithmetic progression and series absent for the last 3 years. If it's present, it's 1 or 2 questions. Arithmetic has a large chunk, between 5 to 9 questions. In 2012, there were 9 questions out of 20 in QA. There are 29 questions in QA in 2012. So 9 has been the highest on arithmetic. Last year has had a decent spattering of 6 questions on arithmetic. The algebra, which is the functions, inequalities, logs, quadratics, a constant presence, but last 3 years it's not been there. But before that, it had a higher weightage. Geometry is again a constant presence, so you will get a very similar feel to the geometry in the ZAT as you have inside the CAT. Modern maths, may specifically probability, you will find questions on this. 1 question, last 5 years. Before that, a couple of years where there have been 2 or 3 questions. Data sufficiency, again, sometimes present, sometimes not present. And others and miscellaneous is again, sometimes you can put a question there. This thing. So if you look at the portion coverage aspect, what are the key areas is arithmetic 1, arithmetic, algebra, geometry, and number systems. If you do these 4, you should get around 70 to 80% of the paper, of the quants part of the paper. This is the frequency analysis of 2011 to 20 for QA and DI. And then the much awaited section of decision making. So when you look at decision making, it's 2 kinds of decision making questions come in this ZAT. One is general or situation based. This is situational decision making, and the other is quant based decision making. So if you look at this thing, quantitative decision making is again very DI kind of feel. It has got a very DI kind of feel, slightly more intricate than a traditional DI question. So sometimes you have these. 2013 was where it peaked, 2 sets of 3 questions each out of 25 questions. And last 4 years, the number of questions in decision making has stabilized to 21. And again, you need around 9 marks to get the 85 percentile level. Out of the if you get 9 marks out of 21, you are at the 85 percentile level, which basically means that you have to solve. The decision making questions are in sets. You read 1 set and then you get 3-4 questions like an RC. But I'll bring out a separate decision making video on how to crack decision making in ZAT separately before the ZAT this year. But having seen this, there are three major keys that I can recommend, or three major aspects to cracking the ZAT that I can recommend. The first is the clarity in sectional time limits. How much time do you want to spend in a section? You have to have complete clarity. And the best way to look at it is you've got 75 questions in 165 minutes. So the paper is basically a 2.2 minutes per question paper. It's giving you 2.2 minutes to process a question and either solve it or leave it. So 2.2 minutes per question paper. So the key to cracking that, the key number one to cracking that is you need to have clarity of section time limits about what works for you specifically. What might work for you might not work for me, and vice versa. So are you 2.2 questions per 2.2 minutes per question means that in the verbal section with 26 questions, you should be spending around 57 minutes. In the RC, that's in VRC. In the quant section, 28 questions, quant DI section, into 2.2, you should be spending around 61 to 62 minutes. And verbal, it should be 57 to 58. And when you talk about decision making, 21 questions into 2.2 is going to be 46 to 47 minutes of spending. And then you try to see where you want to increase your score, where you're not so productive. So you then start saying, okay, I might want to put 5 minutes more in decision making. Let's say decision making and verbal is your stronger section. So you might say, okay, I'll put 5 minutes extra on decision making and I'll put 5 minutes extra on verbal, and I'll shave off 10 minutes from quants. I'll do the quants in 51 minutes. And because apart from the sectional time limits, clarity, how much time you need to spend, the keys is that you first make sure that you qualify the sectional cutoffs, get the 85% percentile point in each section, which is not so difficult if you're prepared for the CAT. And then you create your delta of 10. This is the third key. So the delta of 10 is basically, if you look at the sectional qualifying as a safe number as 10 10 10 in each area, वैसे 8 9 में हो जाता है, but if I think of 10 ki I don't want to be on the borderline, ki I was only aiming for 8 and one question went wrong and I came down to 6. So if I don't want that borderline story happening to me, my basic logic will be 10 10 10 and then the delta, because qualifying ZAT is a 40 plus mark logic. If you can score 40 plus overall, you qualify the ZAT. So 10 10 10 plus the delta of 10. So where do you get the extra 10 from? One strategy could be that you might want to get 7 to 8 extra from quants if you are stronger at quants and DI. Another strategy might be and 5 marks extra on decision making. So this is where you can create a delta if your verbal is weak. If your verbal is weak, this is where you can create a delta. And if your verbal is strong and your decision making is okay and your QADI is not so strong, so then you can create a delta of 5-6 marks on verbal, try to get to 15-16 out of 26 and get a 5 mark delta on decision making, and make sure that you qualify the 10 marks of QA. So this is key number 3, that you have to plan your delta, and based on your delta you have to refurbish your time limits. How much time do you need to this thing, because this part of the strategy becomes very important in that. And also remember the basic logic for making sure that you don't get too many negatives for not solving questions is that anytime you are between two options inside the exam, if you are sure between two options, one of these has to be the answer, mark, and you can see a larger probability on one, but you can't come to a point where you are able to eliminate the other one completely. Do mark one question. Even at a 50-50 call, you should mark one of the options, because otherwise you are losing 0.1 marks for not marking everything after 8 questions. So whenever you are in two options inside the exam, you should mark one of them in the ZAT. This was not a strategy one would advocate in the CAT, but ZAT you should do that. So that's about it. I hope you this video helped you along your ZAT journey. And please let us know what else you want with respect to your ZAT prep process, and we'll be happy to help. So please do subscribe to the Arun Sharma Mindworks channel. Also subscribe to the Arun Sharma Academy, which is more of a competitive exam channel, and also a Hindi, more of a Hindi channel also, because a lot of people have been asking me to do a lot of Hindi, so we're doing it on that channel. And do share these videos with your friends and people you know. Thank you so much. Bye bye.